All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. In the last couple of videos, I've started the BMI app where we're adding a database component, but we really haven't added any new code to the database, and we're going to do that now. But before we do, I want to add a couple of references in the project that we're working with. In the last iteration of this, we went through this. The data source basically is the database. We're using local database, all right, and we're using a MySQL local database. The initial catalog or the name of the database is BMI database. The integrated security is true, so we have some little bit of built-in security for us. The next thing I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to add a couple references. And the first one I want to add is for actually, I think I don't even have to do it here. Let's see once. System.data has already been added, and we also want to add system.configuration, so we're able to work with the stuff that's in here. Okay, so that's been added. All right. Now we already have an interface that we created for this project, an iPerson repository. Now we're going to create something new. We're going to have a new file. It's going to be an SQL person repository. So in our BMI library, we are going to add a new class. All right, we will call this SQL person repository. All right, so there's that. Okay. Now we do want to add, because we just put this in, using system.configuration, and are using system.data.sql client. All right. So this repository is going to store person data in SQL Server rather than using a list like we've been doing. All right. So let's make this public to start with. And let's put a comment in there that says just what I mentioned to you. And I try to really say what was going on there, because we've been using a list, and using that list is fine, but it doesn't give us storage that lasts. All right, it just lasts as long as the program does. All right, so this is going to have to inherit from iPerson repository. Okay, it's giving me an error, so let's see if we can figure out why. Oh, because we haven't added this stuff yet from the iPerson repository. We're going to do that right now. Now, we're going to have this connection string. We can use the underscore. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to remove it. I'm just going to say connection string. All right. And let's have a constructor. And this constructor will read our connection string info from the app.config file. I think that's a big thing. App.config file. There. All right. All right. Let's make this a little smaller. Move this over so you can see all of it. Okay. All right. Show potential fixes. Configuration manager. Okay, let's double check and make sure we're bringing in everything we need here. Got a bunch of things here that we do need system. We need system collections generic, system configuration, and data SQL client. I don't think we need yet any of these. Okay, that's not going to change anything though. Class, SQL person, repository, private read-only string, connection string, that looks good. Connection string info, public, stored connection string equals. All right, I'm getting an error here, and I'm not sure why. And I'm going to take a break for a second and see if I can figure that out and then come back. All right, after doing a little bit of research, I think I figured out what the problem was. And that was, although I added the to my project here, I had come in and added a reference under assemblies, and one of the ones that I added was system.configuration. That was not added to my BMI library. So I went back to the BMI library and did the same thing. I did an add reference, went down and found, again, the system.configuration right here and said OK. As soon as I did, the error went away. This is telling basically my connection string is going to be to the BMI database, which is what I want to have happen in here. All right, so that's the first thing. By no means am I finished, but I have created the constructor. Now, add a person record to the SQL Server database. So let's make a method here that we're just going to call add. All right, and we're going to add more methods in here as well. Now, what we want to do is we want to do an insert command. All right, and we want to be able to insert everything that we're working with, all 6 of those fields. In other words, the first name, the last name, the height, the weight, the BMI, and the BMI status. We want to be able to insert those into our database. All right, so I'm going to say string SQL equals, and I want to put this over multiple lines, so I'm going to do it like this. Again, that allows me to break this up over to multiple lines, which is, again, what I want to do. I have to let it know what fields I'm inserting, and I just told you what they were. So the first name, the last name, the height, the weight, the BMI, and the BMI status. And the values that I'm going to use to do this are going to be just those. Okay. All right. I think I'm missing a line here. Yes, I am. Great, Jeff. All right, and all that stuff has got to go into here. All right, so again, I'm creating a new SQL connection using my connection string, which I set up here to be connecting to our database. And I'm telling it to insert into the table that's in our database the first name, last name, etc. And the values I'm going to use are basically going to be what I'm going to pass into it. right. That is, whoops, that is wrong. That's got to be here. Okay, so let's put this in. Okay, let me copy this a bunch of times. So we need first name, we need last name. Oh, fudge. We need height. We need weight. We need BMI. Finally, we need BMI status. All right. Then we have to open our connection. And we have to execute. Now notice what we're putting in here, execute non-query. And what that actually means is we are going to execute something here that is not going to return anything. Looks like I might be missing a curly brace here. There we go. So we're telling it right here that basically what we're going to end up creating here that we had been working with before and just showing on screen, we're telling it now we want it to be able to be saved to the database. And the reason this is a non-query is it's not going to return anything. To execute a query, it means it's going to return something. This is not going to return anything. All right, let's see where I am in time. Okay, this starts to get really complex, as you might guess. Okay, so I am going to have to retrieve all that information. And we'll do that. We'll have to clear the information. We'll have to be able to delete all the records from SQL Server. We'll have to be able to check and see if this is empty. So there's a lot of stuff we got to do yet. All right, I'm going to stop it right here. So far it works, and that's a great start. All right, now we don't have the other things that we've added here. So notice it's saying we have not implemented a clear, a get people, and an is empty. Previously, it had said we didn't have an add method. We added that. So when I come back and do the next version or the next thing on this, we're going to add the other things that need to be added. And I'll be back with that shortly.